I think it's important to say that Rush is not only going to be involved in assisting brands to enter sport in a way that's appropriate for their business, but we'll also provide the resource and expertise to ensure the ongoing successful activation of that business on the ground in the markets that are important for them. When you're talking about big global sports like Formula One and the Football World Cup, it tends to be the largest global communications platform for the organisations involved. So they are represented at each event at the very highest level. Whilst I was at Williams F1, over 70% of our guests at Grand Prix were C-level, that's to say Chief Executive or COO. So it's a tremendous business networking environment. And the teams have become very proactive in facilitating business introductions, and particularly throughout the recession, B2B has been a driving force behind those sponsorships, and it has helped to create a reciprocal business environment within the hospitality areas at these events. Well, I think sport does represent a fantastic way for Asian brands as they become more sophisticated and start to develop their brands into more premium positioning and global positioning. Sport can be tremendously effective to achieve that very cost effectively and very quickly, but also it can help develop their business internationally through establishing business relations with the other Western and Asian brands that are already involved in the sport. And again, that's an area where Rush can help facilitate. Brands should be a little wary about just focusing on circuit signage or billboards, because we certainly believe at Rush that the team sponsorships are the ones that are the most effective, and certainly the majority of research points to those driving the greatest amount of brand recall and awareness. We're also involved in the America's Cup, which is the 34th America's Cup, and clearly the America's Cup has been through a period of change, but I believe it's come out the other side now very positively, and it looks like a tremendous platform, particularly for Asian brands looking to establish themselves in the European and North American marketplace, where sailing is incredibly popular. I also think can see the America's Cup becoming very popular in Asia. It's clear that interest in sailing and sales of yachts and so on reflect it in this market. Is becoming more popular here, and the next America's Cup, with the technology that's going to be employed on the boats and the design of the boats, is going to be quite striking, and I expect to see a number of America's Cup pre-races in the region. One of the great things about sport is that it is a tremendous bonding experience between nations, and it is apolitical. Formula One is a great example of a sport which now has a third of the races in Asia, and new races such as the Delhi Grand Prix next October in India, Korea in a couple of weeks, and in India we've seen the Formula One audience grow 40% year on year, and that was on the back of a 27% year on year rise the year before. So there's huge opportunities for all organisations to exploit Formula One in that market.